Hi, I'm Ken Mingus. This is Mingus on Tech. We're back for another edition looking at the iPad Pro, the 9.7-inch new model that Apple has just released with Mike Dagonia. And Mike's going to be reviewing it for Computer World. And I just wanted to get a quick update from him on what it's like because Mike, like I, has an iPad Pro, the big one, the 12.9-inch version. And I just wondered what it's like to go back to a smaller screen, having gotten used to the Big Bertha.
Yeah, and it's so strange. The same thing with the phone.
Yep.
Once you get accustomed to that larger screen, everything just feels so weird.
Okay.
going
it
back.
feels small and cramped,
It
right?
does. This feels, I keep looking at this, and I don't see this as I mean, I've owned the iPad since the very, very first generation one. Obviously been doing
Well, the first one was
reviews.
9.7 inches, right?
Right.
But thick. I mean, much thicker. But,
Right, and then this is, it's much thinner, but it does retain the same 9.7-inch size screen.
Yeah.
But when you get accustomed to that 13-inch, screen from the larger iPad Pro, this actually feels like a mini.
It does, exactly. I know that when I picked it up, I mean, it's nice. And this is a little thinner than the iPad Air 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we should note this is basically an iPad Air 2 that's been put on a slight diet, but mainly gets updated internals.
Right. It gets all of the features of the 13-inch version. It gets pretty much squeezed down to this.
Yeah.
But it does have the added benefit of what Apple's calling True Tone technology.
Yeah, explain that to me. So that's a different screen or a different algorithm for displaying what's on the screen?
There's sensors on here that kind of pick up the ambient lighting.
Okay.
And then match the color spectrum.
Okay.
To compensate.
The point is to basically keep the white point that's on the screen that you're looking at the correct white point, no matter what the background light is around you.
Based on the ambient lighting around you, exactly. Okay. And what that does is that normally, instead of having a cold picture, a blue kind of white image, it adjusts and mostly gives it a warmer look.
Okay.
Again, depending on the ambient lighting.
That's not
conditions.
in the 12.9-inch.
That is not. That's brand new to this version.
So we can assume probably in the next version of the 12.9 we'll get that. How's the keyboard? Because I can't imagine, the keyboard that goes with the 12.9-inch is a relatively normal-sized keyboard.
Right. The spacing between the keys.
I would think this would feel really, really tight for typing.
The spacing between the keys are pretty much almost a match for a keyboard. An actual physical keyboard.
Yeah.
But
are the keys smaller themselves?
Right. The keys are smaller, and so are the spaces between. So it's you do have to. Right. It's not cramped so much as it is much more.
If you have small hands, it's probably fine. I mean.
Right. And since I grew accustomed to having a pretty much normal size, because even on that screen without the Apple keyboard, the case or even the Logitech external keyboard, I can pretty much 10-finger touch type on that screen just because the throw is kind of similar.
Can you do that on the smaller?
There's a lot of errors because I'm just not accustomed to it.
Right.
I'm very much accustomed to being able to type on
a regular size keyboard.
Regular size keyboard, essentially. But I mean, it's effective. It still works. It's just taken me a few days to get accustomed to it.
Well, probably once you get used to it, you'd be faster.
Right.
I would think.
Right, and I'm definitely faster now, having used this for a little bit, for a week basically, than I was initially. However, when I go back to my the 13-inch iPad Pro, I mean, it's like, oh, okay.
All this room.
Right.
Yeah. Any other changes? This doesn't get 3D touch or anything like that.
Nope, right? No 3D touch, just like the iPad Pro 13-inch. No 3D touch.
And it's also got 2 gigs of RAM rather than the 4 gigs in the big one, right?
Right, but it does have 256 gigabytes of.
That's right. You can get extra storage. So if you really need to store a lot of things on your iPad, that's more than the iPad Pro, the 12.9-inch model has.
That's right. Okay. And I'm dying for a 256 version.
You're gonna have to wait till the fall, I would assume.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, that's our look at the iPad Pro, the 9.7-inch model that has just come out. Mike will be reviewing it for Computer World, but anyway, that's how it looks for now. That's a wrap.